Guys, it's Mario, and I thought I fixed the microphone, but unfortunately I didn't. So we are just going to go from here. I'm going to try to teach you all guys one build that you can do all the way into Master League. Unfortunately, I've already done all 4 placement matches, and or sorry, I've already done 1 placement match, so I only have 4 left. And I know the audio will be a little bit shit, but I apologize for that. So this build is very simple. We did it a little bit wrong. We had to pause the game and change the microphone back to the shittier quality we had because it was changing from. It was like manually changing the audio from the computer. I changed it down to 4 and then boosted the microphone so that it would get rid of the static, but it would change it back while I was in this game. So it's very difficult to get right. And for that I apologize. So we're actually going to stick true to the values of what we're going to do as close as we can from here on. So the thing that we accidentally did is we made our barracks on 11, it should be on 12, and then our gas should be on 12 as well. So from here on out the strategy is going to be what we're going to do. So again, I apologize. It's a very simple strategy. We're not going to be focusing on bronze, or I think you get placed into platinum, or is that silver? Silver, I think, yes. We're not going to be focusing on those 6, we're just going to be focusing on the placement matches and higher. So the reason that the strategy works is that it's pretty safe, and it's pretty aggressive. If you just follow the build order, odds are you're going to win. And our goal is to do the exact same build order against every matchup for all the masters, and then you can use your control, work on your control to improve. So when the second Reaper is about to be done, oh look, we found him on the first scout. Let's see if he's got an expo. So when the second Reaper is about to be done, we go ahead and drop a factory. Now this build is strange. You see, the build that he's doing right now, he's kind of circling out before his hatchery, which means he went for a spawning pool first. Are we going to change something up? No, not really. We're just going to, poke around, but I want to show you that this build works at all levels. Once the factory is about halfway, start your second gas. So he's getting certain speed. We see the spawning pool move. So I bet you if we poke in here, we see gas. There it is. He took it off. He's got about 200. Buster are possible. He could be aggressive, but we're just going to back up. So the one thing that is going to change is when you go ahead and back up. When you retreat, if it's a hatchery first, then you retreat for at about 6 minutes and 4 seconds, or 6 minutes and 50 seconds to be safe. And then if it's not a hatchery first, if he's got gas, because then he'll have Cerberus speed around that time. If it's not a hatchery first, then what we'll do is go ahead and, if you've got gas, once again, back off at about 5 minutes, a minute earlier. Once we're at 16, we rally down. We make Marines, the siege tank, we move this down. So this is a 3rd command center, but it's only for very specific reasons. Number 1, we were a little bit behind on the minerals, but that's fine. Or, we had a little bit more minerals, but that's fine, we're not too worried about it. So we're going to go ahead and get this. Now the order of what you can do can change. You can get the Widow Mine before the tank if you're scouting a Protoss and you see any signs of Oracle, so don't worry about that. Oops, now 3 in there. Make sure we get all of our supply depots. So this build is going to be a little butchered, but we're going to try to hit it as close to home as possible. And then the next games will be better. So we're going to get a medevac. We're going to go ahead and get a bunker and some missile turrets. We're going to go and get 3 missile turrets. This is going to be universal in every matchup. 1 near the production facilities, and one in each mineral line. Why are we doing this? Well, this is for pretty much every matchup has something where we need some sort of missile turret. You know, banshees, oracles, mutalisks, and it's also good to protect our production. Why do we do this? I'm gonna try to wall off in every matchup. We're gonna keep producing siege tanks, and we're gonna move these over. Once we have our 2 factories, we go ahead and get our 2 gas, not before we have the 2 factories. Do we want an armory? Yeah, we can get an armory. But that's not the biggest concern right now. Oh, looks like he's all inning us. We weren't paying attention. Oops. So we knew that aggression was definitely possible. Let's lower the audio for StarCraft for a second. I'm not sure how that sound is for you guys. I will be muting, or I will be, resuming from a different section and pasting it in here afterwards so I can check the audio quality. So this one may be bad, but the next game might not be. Once the factories are done, then we go ahead and get the armories. Why do we wait that long? Well, the biggest reason for it is that, we want to get these factories up pretty early. We can make some Hellions and a Viking. And mutalisks can hit around, if it's 2 base, 8-minute mark, but we're not concerned about that. You see, we're going to supply you with a build that wins the majority of the time. You can see that we have 16 workers if those 2 finish the armory, and then we have, let's see here, 16 workers here. We're going to have an excess of 2 to make supply depots. So we want 16 per base, 3 in each gas, and then an extra 2 just to make depots. So we're fine there. We got the exact amount we want. We got a siege tank, so now we're going to make some Hellbats. Swap this over. We don't want too many siege tanks. We don't want too many Thors. We are going to get 2 Vikings. And then 2 more Hellbats. So we have to swap it up. Why do we have to swap between Vikings and Medivacs and Thors and siege tanks? Thors are to stop air units. Vikings are to stop air units. Siege tanks are to stop ground units. And then Medivacs help stop ground units. So it's a very simple rule, we just gotta have a good mix of both. Why did we stop SUV production? Well, this is gonna be an all-in. So now from here, we drop 3 factories, which means that we don't have enough gas for siege tanks or Thors. So we're going to make 1 round of pure Hellbat, which is anti-ground, and 1 round of Vikings, which is anti-air. Can we go ahead and meal drop? Yes, but you do want to save some for when you go attack. Let's throw down an extra supply depot. And an even more extra one. We've got a lot of resources because we're not making stuff. We're going to move this over to a 3rd base. We don't need to use it yet. Maybe get the watchtower. Let's get another siege tank. We got 1 Thor. We'll get 1 more tech lab. No more than that. So we're going to have 2 tech labs, 2 reactors, and then an extra reactor on the starport, and then 2 non-add-ons. We're going to be 199 when that depot finishes. We want to be all the way. And we are going to push out when 2-2 is finished. We're going to be muling the 3rd base. We are not sending anything to the 3rd base. So now, more Hellbats because we're low on gas. We do want to use SCVs from here to make gas geysers at the 3rd. That's very important. Once you are at about a comfortable spot, once you get your 3 extra factories, you want the gas geysers. Siege tank, 1 Thor at a time, lots of Hellbats. And then from your main, you use them to saturate this gas. I think we actually sent too much, but that's fine. We can split them up in just a minute. So look, Zerglings. Let's get some Medivacs in here. Now, we're expecting to just be able to walk over our opponent. No extra. get another Thor. Let's get another siege tank. Oh, mouse is having problems. There we go. So about now, we would have been maxed out. You know, we are kind of maxed out. It's a little delayed because he attacked. And now we have a lot of units. 2-2 is close to finishing. We want to push about like 140. But you can always push after he does a big attack. And do cute things to kind of save units. We're not that concerned. Well, if he goes Mutalisks, you know, we've got Thors. We did lose one. So we would have been at 3 Thors and a lot of Vikings to help zone out Mutalisks. And we would have also, oh by the way, when you're pushing out, transfer some of these over to make this about 16 mining. You know, it's okay that these aren't that low. This is a 2-base all-in, where we just keep making units and transferring workers. As long as we don't lose workers. Any worker we lose, we replace. So we see roaches, we go ahead and siege. 2-2 is done when the push is over. Or when the push is there, and that's that. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and check this out real fast, and then we're gonna go straight into the next game.